Chosen one, this message is not random, and it is not meant for everyone. If you have found yourself here, drawn to these words without fully understanding why, it is because this moment has been divinely aligned for you. There are times in life when messages arrive not by coincidence, but by calling. This is one of those moments. You are here because your spirit recognizes something familiar, something true, something meant specifically for you. You have been strong for a long time. Strong in ways that people around you may never fully understand. You have carried responsibilities that were never formally assigned to you, yet somehow always became yours. You have been the one others lean on when they are overwhelmed, confused, or broken. When situations fall apart, you are expected to hold everything together. When others lose hope, you are expected to remain steady, faithful, and resilient. And while you may have done this willingly, even lovingly, the weight of it has grown heavy. There is a deep exhaustion that comes from always being the strong one. Not just physical tiredness, but a soul-level weariness. It is the fatigue that settles in when you give and give, when you pour yourself out for others, when you carry emotional, spiritual, and mental burdens that are not entirely your own. You may have wondered why it feels like you are constantly giving support, wisdom, and strength, yet rarely receiving the same in return. You may have asked yourself why rest feels so distant, even when you slow down. These questions are not signs of weakness, they are signs of awareness. Being chosen does not mean life is easy. In fact, it often means the opposite. Those who are called to walk a divine path frequently experience deeper struggles, heavier responsibilities, and stronger internal battles. You feel things more intensely. You sense the pain of others. You notice what others overlook. And because of this, you often take on more than most people ever will. This is not accidental. It is part of your calling. However, understanding why you are tired is just as important as acknowledging that you are tired. This message is not here to tell you to simply endure or push harder. It is here to bring clarity. To help you understand the nature of your strength, the reason behind your exhaustion, and the purpose hidden within the weight you carry. You are not failing. You are not weak. And you are certainly not alone. This is a moment of recognition. A moment to pause and realize that your weariness has meaning, that your struggles are shaping you, and that your strength does not come solely from yourself. As you continue, allow yourself to listen not just with your mind, but with your spirit. What you are about to understand may not remove the weight immediately, but it will help you carry it with clarity, purpose, and renewed hope. Being chosen is often spoken of as an honor, a blessing, or a divine gift, and while that is true, it is rarely spoken of as what it truly feels like from the inside. The reality is that being chosen carries a weight that few people are prepared for. It is not a light calling, and it is not one that can be easily explained to those who have never felt it. The burden of being chosen is not about superiority or status, it is about responsibility, endurance, and sacrifice. When you are chosen, you are entrusted with more. More awareness, more sensitivity, more accountability. You are not allowed the same level of spiritual restlessness or careless living that others may indulge in. There is an inner pressure that keeps you alert, watchful, and constantly aware of what is right, what is true, and what is required of you. Even when you try to ignore it, the call remains. You cannot simply turn it off. From the outside, people may admire your strength. They may see your confidence, your ability to remain calm under pressure, and your willingness to support others without complaint. What they do not see is the internal struggle that comes with that strength. They do not see the moments when you feel emotionally drained, spiritually worn, or silently overwhelmed. They do not see the battles you fight alone, the doubts you wrestle with in the quiet, or the nights when rest does not come easily. The burden becomes heavier because you are often expected to be unbreakable. Others assume that because you have always been strong, you will always be strong. They come to you with their fears, their problems, and their pain, believing that you can handle it. And most of the time, you do. But carrying the weight of others, especially when you are carrying your own, slowly takes a toll. It is like being a well that everyone draws from, yet no one stops to refill. There is also a spiritual dimension to this burden. Being chosen often means facing deeper internal conflicts and spiritual warfare. You are challenged in ways that push you to grow, to question, and to strengthen your faith. These battles are not meant to destroy you, but they can feel relentless. They require resilience, discipline, and trust in something greater than yourself. This constant refinement process can feel heavy, especially when you do not yet see the outcome. Yet, within this burden lies a hidden truth. The weight you carry is not meant to crush you, it is meant to shape you. The burden of being chosen is not a sign that you are cursed or punished. It is evidence that there is something within you that has been recognized, refined, and set apart for a purpose greater than your comfort. Understanding this does not remove the weight, but it gives it meaning. And meaning is often what turns exhaustion into endurance. One of the most difficult and least discussed aspects of being chosen is the loneliness that comes with it. This loneliness is not always about being physically alone. Often, it is the feeling of being emotionally and spiritually unseen, even when surrounded by people. It is the sense that no one truly understands the path you are walking or the weight you carry within. This kind of isolation can be deeply painful, especially when you long for connection but feel increasingly set apart. As a chosen one, you are called to walk a path that differs from the norm. While others may be focused on comfort, validation, or worldly distractions, you feel drawn towards something deeper and more meaningful. Your priorities shift. Your values evolve. And over time, you may notice that you no longer fit into spaces or relationships that once felt familiar. Conversations may begin to feel shallow. Social environments may feel draining rather than energizing. This is not because you are superior, but because your spirit has been tuned to a different frequency. This difference often leads to misunderstanding. People may not understand why you cannot simply live like everyone else, why you question certain choices, or why you feel compelled to sacrifice things others cling to. They may see your withdrawal as distance, arrogance, or indifference, when in reality it is alignment. You are not pulling away because you think you are better, you are stepping back because you are being called forward in a different direction. Unfortunately, this distinction is rarely understood. At some point in your journey, you must come to terms with a truth that may feel heavy but unavoidable: you were not chosen only to endure, you were chosen to lead. Leadership, in this sense, is not about titles, recognition, or authority. It is about influence, responsibility, and obedience to a higher purpose. Whether you lead visibly or quietly, formally or informally, your life carries direction for others. People watch how you move, how you respond, and how you remain grounded when things are uncertain. God's definition of leadership is very different from the world's. While the world associates leadership with control, status, and dominance, divine leadership is rooted in service, humility, and sacrifice. You are called to guide, not to dominate. To serve, not to be served. This is why leadership often feels heavy. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to place purpose above comfort. It demands that you grow before you guide and heal before you help others heal. You may feel unqualified for this role at times. Doubt often surfaces when responsibility increases. You may question whether you are strong enough, wise enough, or prepared enough to lead others. But divine leadership has never been about personal qualification. God does not call the equipped, He equips the called. Your readiness is not measured by perfection, but by obedience. Each step you take in faith develops the strength you need for the next one. Embracing leadership also means letting go of the need for approval. Not everyone will understand your choices, and not everyone will support your direction. Criticism, resistance, and misunderstanding are often part of the process. When you lead according to God's will, you may lose validation from people but gain alignment with purpose. True leadership requires the courage to move forward even when affirmation is absent. Humility remains the foundation of your role. You are not called to stand above others, but to walk alongside them. The most impactful leaders are those who listen deeply, act with compassion, and lead by example. Your actions, integrity, and consistency speak louder than your words. Through humility, you create trust. Through trust, others are willing to follow. Vision is another essential part of leadership. You are called to see beyond the present moment and help others recognize what is possible. This vision may not always be clear, but it becomes sharper as you stay connected to God. As you align your steps with His guidance, you gain clarity not only for yourself but for those who walk with you. Leadership will challenge you. There will be moments of uncertainty, fatigue, and doubt. But these moments are not indicators that you should step back. They are opportunities to deepen your reliance on God. Leadership is not about being flawless. It is about being faithful. By embracing your role, you step fully into the purpose for which you were chosen. Your journey, your struggles, and your growth are shaping you into someone capable of leading with wisdom, strength, and grace. As you come to the end of this message, it is important to remember that your journey as a chosen one is not defined by exhaustion, struggle, or endless sacrifice. It is defined by purpose, growth, and alignment with something far greater than yourself. Everything you have experienced, the weight, the loneliness, the separation, and the renewal, has been part of a divine process shaping you into who you are meant to become. You were never called to live in a constant state of depletion. Strength and rest were always meant to exist together. Giving and receiving were always meant to be balanced. Serving others does not require abandoning yourself, and leadership does not demand self-destruction. God's design for your life includes seasons of action and seasons of stillness, moments of pouring out and moments of being filled. When one is missing, imbalance begins to take its toll. Moving forward requires awareness. You must recognize when it is time to slow down, when it is time to step back, and when it is time to simply be present with God. Rest is not a reward you earn after exhaustion, it is a discipline that protects your calling. When you honor rest, you honor the source of your strength. When you create space for renewal, you allow clarity, peace, and direction to return. It is also important to release the pressure to carry everything alone. You were chosen, but you were not meant to be isolated. God places people, opportunities, and moments of support in your life intentionally. Learning to receive is just as important as learning to give. When you allow yourself to be supported, you are not failing your role, you are sustaining it. As you move forward, trust God's timing. Do not rush seasons meant to refine you, and do not resist seasons meant to restore you. Each phase serves a purpose, even when it does not make sense at the moment. What feels slow is often preparation. What feels heavy is often transformation. And what feels uncertain is often the space where faith is strengthened. Remember that your calling is not about perfection. You will stumble. You will grow tired again. You will face moments of doubt. But none of these moments disqualify you. They remind you of your humanity and your need for divine connection. God's strength does not depend on your consistency, it flows from His faithfulness. Chosen one, your path is unfolding exactly as it should. The weariness you feel today does not mean you are failing, it means you have been carrying something meaningful. As you restore balance, reconnect with God, and move forward with intention, you will find that your strength returns in a deeper, more sustainable way. Your journey is far from over. What lies ahead is not burnout, but renewal. Not isolation, but alignment. And not exhaustion, but a strength that flows from a source that never runs dry. Keep walking forward, grounded in faith, guided by purpose, and supported by the divine power that called you in the first place. There will be moments ahead when the old patterns try to call you back. Familiar exhaustion. Familiar guilt for resting. Familiar pressure to prove your worth through constant giving. When those moments arise, remember what you now know. You are not defined by how much you carry for others, but by how faithfully you remain aligned with your purpose. Growth often requires resisting what once felt normal. You may also notice that as you become more grounded, some connections naturally fall away. This is not loss, it is refinement. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next season. Some were assigned to earlier chapters, to teach you endurance, compassion, or discernment. Releasing them does not diminish their importance, it honors the role they played without forcing them to remain beyond their time. As your alignment deepens, your discernment sharpens. You will begin to recognize where your energy is welcomed and where it is merely consumed. You will feel the difference between relationships that nourish your spirit and those that drain it. This awareness is a gift. Use it wisely. Saying no is not rejection, it is protection. Boundaries are not barriers to love, they are the structures that allow love to remain sustainable. You are entering a season where quality matters more than quantity. Fewer words. Fewer explanations. Fewer obligations that pull you away from your center. In their place comes depth, clarity, and intentional movement. You will no longer feel the need to justify your pace or explain your path. Those who are meant to understand will. Those who are not do not need convincing. Trust what is unfolding within you. Even when progress feels subtle, even when transformation feels quiet, even when no one else seems to notice, something real is taking shape. Divine work is rarely loud. It is consistent. It is precise. And it is patient. Chosen one, continue forward with steadiness. As you move forward, you will begin to notice a quiet confidence settling within you. This confidence does not announce itself. It does not seek validation or recognition. It is calm, grounded, and deeply rooted. It comes from knowing who you are, what you carry, and where your strength truly comes from. Unlike the confidence born from achievement or approval, this one remains steady even when circumstances shift. This quiet confidence will change the way you interact with the world. You will speak less, but with more intention. You will react less, but with greater clarity. Situations that once demanded explanation will no longer require your energy. You will understand that not every misunderstanding needs correction, and not every opinion deserves access to your peace. This restraint is not indifference, it is maturity. With this confidence comes authority. Not authority that dominates, but authority that stabilizes. People will sense it in your presence. Some will feel safe around you. Others may feel challenged, even uncomfortable, without knowing why. This is not something you need to manage. Authority rooted in alignment naturally reveals what is real and what is not. It draws truth to the surface without effort. You will also become more intentional with your boundaries. Not rigid walls, but clear lines shaped by wisdom. You will recognize when to step in and when to step back. When to speak and when silence serves better. When to give and when to preserve. These boundaries will protect not only your energy, but the integrity of your calling. Without them, even the strongest purpose can become diluted. There may be moments when others resist these changes. They may miss the version of you that was always available, always accommodating, always carrying more than was healthy. This resistance is not a sign that you are wrong. It is often a sign that you are no longer operating from depletion. Growth can feel threatening to those who benefited from your exhaust. As this quiet authority settles, timing becomes clearer to you in ways it never was before. You no longer feel the urgency to rush outcomes or force doors to open. You begin to sense when it is time to act and when it is time to wait. This discernment is not passive, it is precise. You are learning that alignment often moves faster than effort ever could. Divine placement rarely feels dramatic while it is happening. Often, it feels ordinary, subtle, even uneventful. You may wonder if anything significant is actually changing. But beneath the surface, foundations are being set. Connections are forming. Opportunities are aligning quietly, without announcement. What is meant for you is being positioned in a way that will not require strain to sustain. You may notice that recognition begins to arrive without pursuit. People see your steadiness. They feel your clarity. They trust your presence before you ever explain yourself. This is the kind of recognition that does not inflate the ego or demand constant maintenance. It rests easily because it is rooted in truth, not performance. There will be moments when you are tempted to compare your pace to others. Resist this. Your path was never designed to mirror anyone else's. Speed does not equal favor, and visibility does not equal significance. Some of the most impactful movements happen quietly, carried by consistency rather than spectacle. What you are building is meant to last, not to impress. As your placement becomes more defined, you will also feel a stronger sense of responsibility. Not pressure, but stewardship. You become more mindful of your words, your decisions, and your influence. You understand that even small actions carry weight. This awareness is not meant to burden you, it is meant to ground you. Authority without awareness becomes reckless. Authority with awareness becomes guidance. Chosen one, trust the timing unfolding around you. You are not late. You are not behind.